for President Trump. Watch.
I rise today, Mr. Speaker, to call for the impeachment of the President of the United States of America.
Not a star in the sky, people. I got a little truth for you. First one is, I don't know who you are, why you're here, but hang on, I'll show you some truth. Not a star in the sky. I ain't seen the sun shine in 3 damn days. I mean, it's hot, it's bright outside. And it don't matter if they impeach the president. That'll just make him stronger, and it don't matter above that. Both of them work for the same people. Republican, Democrat. They're not what you were taught. They both have the same master. They both work for the same people. Look it up. Or just ask me, I'll send you somewhere, I'll send you some pictures, or let you figure it out. Not hard. 2 plus 2 is always 4. Bottom line, now we'll get to that. So my little girl comes going on 40. I never met anybody who's smarter in my life, maybe. Okay. 5G.
Joined the Royal Navy in 1960.
This is the last time I'm doing
I joined the Royal Navy
a video of the
in
broadcast phone.
1960,
Royal Navy.
and I studied microwaves. And I learned all aspects of microwave warfare. Their dangers, their uses, the dangers to the human body. So, and I had a thorough background in microwaves. Microwaves at that time were, as they are today, used as weapons. It is a perfect weapon because you can't feel it. And for a government, if you can microwave people you don't like, you can give them cancer or brain damage, and you've effectively put them out of action, and you can't be prosecuted for it because they don't know you're doing it.
You talk about microwaves used as weapons. Is it the same microwaves that are used in modern communications technologies?
Exactly the same. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is the colour of the box that they come out of.
So if you look into the science about this, what kind of symptoms could wireless technologies cause?
You will feel very tired, you will feel lethargic, you will feel depressed, which is usually the first symptom. You won't want to get up in the morning, you won't want to be happy. You will have more colds, more coughs, longer colds, longer coughs, because your immune system cannot cope. That is followed usually by some form of neurological damage. You will feel suicidal. Suicide is a very common side effect. You will feel life isn't worth living, and then and I had 2,500 of them. Many years of study, and they all say this. they all say this, that they can affect the eyes, the heart, the brain, and they can induce cancer. And when I got to Canada, the professor at Trent University, she had another, and she showed them to me, another 6,000 documents that I didn't have. So there are at least 8,500 military documents with this. And we also have now the peer-reviewed epidemiological studies, 14 of them to my knowledge, that all show low-level radiation causes cancer and neurological diseases, illnesses.
Look, some of y'all might not want to go any farther. I mean, for real, and once you know you can never go back. Thank all of you for coming.
It could be the one today. So, you now have a child that has a probability of being genetically damaged. But the real damage is when that child grows up. You have genetic material in your ovaries which could be damaged. Now, the real problem comes, so you have a child that could be born genetically damaged, but the real problem comes when you become pregnant. If you are a teacher or a mature student and you become pregnant, because the embryo inside your womb, in the first 100 days, all of those 400,000 eggs are forming in your embryo, your child's ovaries. So your child could be born with genetically damaged eggs. And the main thing about the eggs in the ovaries of your child is that they have absolutely no protection. It hasn't been developed yet. We have a natural protection against microwaves. It was developed since the Stone Age against thunderstorms and massive amounts of radiation coming into our body. But in your embryo, your uterus, in the fetus, where your child is developing for the first 100 days, in the ovaries, the eggs do not have that protection. So they are at maximum risk from radiation. And for the first month or so, you wouldn't even know you were pregnant. You wouldn't even be taking precautions. That is the main danger area. So you give birth to a daughter, but her ovaries are now contaminated. She may be normal, she may be genetically damaged, but her ovaries are at the most risk. So when your daughter grows up and she becomes pregnant and has a baby, this is where one of these eggs will be fertilized and come out. So the real damage here is your grandchildren. That is where it is going to show most. And we already see this in animals that have reproductive cycles of a year or 2 years or 3 years. We're already seeing this, and it has been published by veterinary schools and vets and scientists, so we know this happens. And it's also been documented in the Cold War when women were deliberately microwaved. So we know it does happen. The documents are there. And what you're risking by putting Wi-Fi into schools is the future generations of all of these girls. But it gets worse, because this particular DNA, the mitochondrial DNA inside you, and the DNA inside you, the mitochondrial DNA, you can trace unchanged to your mother, her mother, her mother, right the way back to the beginning of the human race in Africa, the Stone Age. You can trace your ancestors, if you could, right back to the very first lady. It is unchanged, the mitochondria. And that is being unchanged in your children, which means if you damage it, your child could be genetically damaged, then her child, and her child, and her child, forever. You are condemning the future generations of every single child until there are no more lines left in the female in your family. You must stop. A female must stop producing children for this to stop. So when you put Wi-Fi in schools, what you're saying is, for the sake of a little bit of money that saves getting a workman in to drill holes through the walls to feed cable, because it's cheaper, we're just going to put Wi-Fi in, but you can have genetically damaged children for the rest of your family's career. That's what we're saying.
Wow. That man's credentials can be looked up. All this is true. And I guess the good thing is I have an answer. And on the next one I'm going to come back in with him. That guy's name is Barry Trower. And this is done under the Freedom of Speech Act, or however that works, whichever act that is. Big Wireless. I'm going to try to put some of all these videos. And I'm going to get a laptop or something to help out. But yeah, check this out. Big Wireless concedes blocking cell towers near fire stations, not schools. These are actual titles. And schools and Wi-Fi. Is your child sitting under this? ABC News. Wireless radiation.